Alrighty, it's a great pleasure to have Jim from the Borderers on the show. How you doing, mate?
I'm good, Michael.
It's
the Borderers, by the way. I'm only kidding. If you're in Scotland, it's the Borderers, but over here I've got to say the Borderers.
So, someone else had a go at me about my accent the other day. I can't remember who it was.
No.
Now, I've had a chat to lots of guys that have been from, I guess, iconic bands that are associated with Adelaide, but the Borderers are, I guess, a current band that you've been around for so long now as an act with you and Alex that really you are an institution in Adelaide, and I don't know if we really appreciate you guys as much as we should. It's really quite something special. How does that sort of fit with you, or do you just sort of take it day to day and don't really think about things like that?
Well, Alex reckons I should be in an institution, so I think she should be as well sometimes. I think we're actually crazy, you know. I think most entertainers are crazy in one way, not in a mad, you know, I'm going to kill you kind of way, but missing something and requiring. It's funny how I was thinking about it today. I was at the gym today and thinking I was so shy, you know, and find it hard to talk to people. Yeah, when you go on stage, you know, I mean.
So if anyone's seen you on stage, that's not.
Yeah, but I mean, even Eric Bogle. I mean, he is a bit of an institution around the world, but hardly anybody in Adelaide would know really, apart from the real folky kind of people. So I think the problem with what happened with us is because we took up, when we first got here, we performed we started in 1994, and then we performed at Warm Adelaide in 95, and everybody that was performing there had like their traditional outfits on, and I said to Alex, we've got to look a bit different, you know, can't just go on with jeans, you know. So we went down to the op shop and we bought a couple of kilts, but that's actually been a bad thing, I think, because although you get an image, like Angus Young's got an image, but there's something cool about Angus, but as soon as you put a kilt on, you seem to lose credibility, and people have always said you're a Celtic band. I go, well, maybe 20%.
And I was just thinking you just wanted to show us your legs all the time.
But I mean, I remember it's the Status Quo saying that they turned up to the gigs with their jeans and all the Levi's, you know, and then they would go to the dressing room and change into their stage Levi's.
That's funny.
And it's true. I think once you actually put an outfit on, you know, we've had people laughing at us at festivals, big kind of Irish, Scottish kind of famous bands laughing because we went and got changed, and they're on stage with their t-shirts full of Guinness stains, you know, thinking that they're cool. But
I know what you mean. Like it's sort of getting yourself ready for the performance.
Yes.
Yeah.
As I
that's
said,
right.
if you've been driving 20 hours, the only thing that actually puts you in a different frame of mind is to have a quick shower and then put some stage outfit on, you know. But I hate being limited to the Celtic, because it's we'll have all sorts of music. We work with Indian guys and African musicians and Dixieland bands, and you know.
And that's one of the things I love about the band, or about you two, is that you never know what musical direction you're going to go to. You touch everything. I remember seeing you guys many years ago, and you played a T-Rex tune, and I loved it. And it was from, if anyone has a perception of what the Borderers are, that wasn't it. But it proved to me that you guys can do anything, and you have done that over and over again.
It's funny, I was listening to that album coming up here to see you. I haven't listened to it for years, and that came on, and I forgot about the bagpipe solo in the middle. And I thought, what would Matt Boland say if he heard the bagpipes coming along? And we had to do it in B flat as well, because bagpipes are E flat and B flat, you know. So it's a strange key for rock and roll. My mate in Scotland, he was at the head of the Matt Boland fan club in Britain, and when Matt Boland died, somebody broke into Matt Boland's house and stole all his demo tapes.
Really?
And my mate got them, you know, and he copied them, but he gave them back, you know. But he was like, he was such a fan. He had all
awesome.
these. demo tapes of unfinished music, you know.
So you're about my age. You would have been sort of only a teenager. I remember when Mark Bolan passed away, and I would have probably
77.
13, 14.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Seems so long ago.
He had the TV show in Britain at the time. Him and the Basic Rollers. They had a 4:30 every night.
Really?
Mark Bolan came on, you know, and he would bring Elton on and David Bowie and all this stuff, and then the next night would be Basic Rollers, you know. There's a band with Tartan.
Oh, indeed. I always, what the hell would Mark Bolan be doing now if he was still around? It just, the mind boggles, and it's a bit like Jimi Hendrix. What would he be doing now? Like, it's just, it doesn't bear thinking about.
If you actually listen to Mark Bolan's lyrics, you think, what the hell was he on? You know, it's...
I've seen the stuff that really blew me away in sort of recent years, that I've seen footage back of him playing live, and just him and an acoustic guitar, and it was just fantastic, and he just had such a command of the audience, just himself. I really, from listening to his records, I didn't appreciate what a great performer he was till I'd seen that footage. It really blew me away.
I remember my mate saw him at the Glasgow Apollo, and Mark Bolan says a lot of people think I don't play guitar, and he did a 10-minute guitar solo just to prove that he could play it. And no, he was. But I remember Tony Visconti, I think, produced his albums, and it was like they would put 10 guitars down just to get that one guitar sound. You know, those are the days. You know, we talked about Queen earlier. You know, that production with 16-track recordings. I mean, it's. But there's something so good about that, isn't it? There's something warm, and then the musicians had to be great, because you couldn't fix it up, really.
True. But you guys capture that. There's a warmth about all your recordings. It is so diverse, but there is that. I think that's the common thread through it. There is sort of a, and it's really hard to put my finger on. And warmth is maybe the word that holds all your music together. That's really appealing. That it doesn't seem disjointed, although it's, the stylistically you go so many different places.
Yeah. No, thanks, Michael. But it's I think maybe the thing there is the positiveness in the lyrics. I just, I refuse to watch the news, and I refuse to watch the 6:30 programs, because they're just there to have us full of fear, and so we don't go out, and we don't. I remember a guy saying to me, instead of watching the news, why don't you read a self-help book or a positive mentor book, just to lift your spirits rather than bring them down, My mum and dad came out here about 3 years ago, and they were watching the news every night, and they got, this place is like Beirut, it's like Afghanistan, And I said, but outside, are you seeing tanks and snipers and all that? I said, don't watch the news, it's so that's what we try and do in the music, to lift the audience live and on record, And
if folks haven't seen you play live, it's really, really difficult to explain how good you guys are. I've never seen a band ever that can grab an audience like you can, and you guys do it so well. And I've seen you do it to an audience at a pub at the Gov. I've seen you do it to an audience with little kids, and you just, I can't really. People have got to see you play to be able to understand what I'm trying to say. It's amazing how you guys transform a crowd. You're obviously having the time of your life when you're playing live.
I think that's the thing, isn't it? When you really love what you're doing. I remember when we first started, Alex and I would busk in Rundle Mall, or we even busked in near Niagara Falls, but we got more money at Rundle Mall. And when we did covers, we didn't make that much. As soon as we sang our own songs, people didn't know them, but we got more money. We sold more tapes because we had really believed in them, and yeah, I mean that Alex hates recording, really hates recording studios, because she can't get that energy that she gets from a crowd. So we've had, it's been really hard to do recordings. I love the studio, I could spend every day there, but she hates it.
So tell me now, I believe when it might have been a very early gig, or even your first gig in the United States, that you had to. Alex didn't even want to go on stage. Is that right? She had an attack of stage fright. Is that the story? That it's very different these days.
We got to San Francisco, and a guy from an Irish pub had said, you know, you can stay in my basement and you know, play in the pub, and I'll give you some money, you know. And we just got into his basement. We were watching this white Tarago going through the streets of LA. I was like, what is that? It was the O.J. Simpson.
Okay.
So we get caught up with this O.J. Simpson thing, and then the guy phones in. Oh,
You're on.
You're on. Alex said, no, I've got food poisoning, you know. And then the guy said, if you don't get on, I'm going to kick your ass. So OJ was still going the time we got back, you know. Still going now, I think.
One of the things you guys do that I don't think anyone else has attempted to do, and you've done it very successfully, is take on the world, and you've played all around the world but being based in Adelaide. Everyone else has had to move from Adelaide to do that, or has chosen to do that. You really are the only act that I can think of that really has stayed put in Adelaide but has still have, you know, is there anywhere you haven't played?
I think Eric Bogle.
Greenland.
Eric Bogle's probably the other one. Eric's done it a lot more than us. You know, Eric did an 83-day tour a couple of years ago in the UK, and as I said, I just got here, and it was basically luck how I ended up here, and but because we've got kids here, you know, it's just. Well, Sydney and Melbourne and Queensland and all that is great, but it's just easy to live in Adelaide. You know, you can fly anywhere. So even the guys that we know that have went to Melbourne, they were on tour with like Brian Cadd or Glenn Shark, and they said, well, instead of paying, you know, $150 a week here to be on tour with Brian Cadd, we were paying $300 in Melbourne to be out on the road. They said, so we're paying double the rent to not be there, you know what I mean? So the opportunities just weren't that much better than went and staying here, but it was a cheaper place to do it, yeah. But, I like Adelaide.
So we talked about how you've flitted around the world. Is there actually any places that any territories that you're really keen to sort of make a mark in that you haven't done yet?
Canada, definitely Canada. Although we've been going 18 years, you know, we should have applied. I think we did apply to Canada a few years back, but when you apply a couple of years and you don't get in, you kind of just think, oh.
So is that for a work visa or just?
No, just to get into the festivals.
Oh, okay, sorry, yeah.
Yeah, and if you don't get in a couple of times, you maybe just kind of think, oh, I'll leave that one alone. A bit like Cliff Richard and Status Quo with America, you know, they gave it a bump, but it didn't really work, and they just concentrate in Australia and Germany and stuff like that. But now it's like, oh, well, we should apply because we play all the biggest folk festivals here, so we should apply there. So there's a showcase. I found out from the Waifs drummer that he got into the festivals over there by doing a showcase in Toronto in October, and I don't think we can manage this year because we've got things lined up, but I think we'll do it the following year. So that's 14. So it might be 2015 before you something
long-term plan.
Oh. But time goes so fast, don't you think?
Does time flies when you're having fun?
Oh, jeez.
Let's talk about the latest CD. It's a really spectacular package, a double CD, and it's obviously something very close to your heart. The two CDs are so different, but the first CD, Tales of Love and Loss, is obviously about those subjects, and everyone's been through, you know, stages in their life and things have happened to them that you know, there's so many tunes on this CD that will mean things to people, and obviously, you know, have come from you guys, from your heart. It's there's some very special songs in there. It's obviously, you know, it means a lot to you guys as well.
Well, the background was our son took his own life about 2.5 years ago, and he had started running away when he was a young teenager, and started getting into a lot of drugs and alcohol and things like that. But he was kind of drifting back, and we were trying to get him on the right path. But yeah, he just anyway he took his own life, and the only positive things from that is, you know, where do you go from there? And it's like we've been doing shows in the country South Australia because a lot of farmers are taking their own life. They just don't have anybody to talk to.
Yeah.
And the guy said to me that you know, that we used to talk down the pub, you know, years ago when they didn't drink drive thing, but now they're just going home, isolating, not talking about the problems. So we were trying to get that people just to talk, you know. And then we did the show a couple of weeks ago for a group called Grow SA, and that's again about dealing with mental health, not necessarily with drugs, but dealing with mental health through music or through talking and that kind of stuff. So there's been a lot of things came out of, you know, that we help other people kind of things. But loving while we can, we were playing in Europe a few years ago with Donovan was there, and we did a, you know, after the show we're all sitting in a room having a jam, and
that's pretty cool to have jam with Donovan.
It
That's
was
very cool.
It was cool. And he's if you listen to a lot of his songs, it's a very folky Bob Dylan-ish.
Well, he was worked a lot with Mark Bolan too.
Did he?
Yeah.
Oh, I never knew that. So the inspiration came from his finger picking, that style.
Fantastic.
And then we also got asked to do a Peter, Paul and Mary theme at a festival, and they were all "We Shall Over," you know. There was so many songs like that. So that's where the music, the song came from, but the lyrics are tell them that you love them while you can, because, you know, when our son left on Christmas Day, I never knew a month later, and you know, never see him again, you know, and that was the last time I saw him. But he was heading down the pub, and it was just like, right, see you later. It was not so and then my mum died last year, and luckily enough I did tell her I loved her on the telephone, which was quite unusual for me, because we never had that kind of you know, you knew you loved each other, but you didn't say it that often. So and then Light on a Hill, that was about our son as well, but the title came from a Labour Prime Minister. That was one of his famous speeches, Light on the Hill. I just saw it in the paper and I thought, something that's really nice title, that, and it fitted into the song kind of thing. So yeah, quite a few to do with that on that first side, you know.
And as You're My World is a tune that's getting a fair bit of attention at the moment, which I think is a well known. Who actually? Can you remember who first recorded that? It's an old song.
Well, we knew it from Cilla Black from Europe, but
Daryl Braithwaite had a huge hit in Australia with it in the 70s.
Yeah,
very.
Cilla was the 60s, so but it was actually written by 2 Italian guys.
Is that right?
Yeah, it was an old Italian song, and then they put English lyrics to it. George Martin produced it.
There you go.
He produced the Cilla Black version. Well, we just did it some gig, you know, for a laugh, and then it's like became really, you know, the usual. Everybody wants that one, you know, that one and Danny Boy. Yeah. But it was the very last song I recorded with the band. I just said, do you mind doing one more song? And we'd had a couple of glasses of wine by that stage, and did it in one take, and it was like, oh, that came out quite good.
Like I said, everyone seems to be picking up on that tune. And the second CD, Rise Up, is such a positive collection of songs. It for me, after Tales of Love and Loss, it tells the story of how music can no matter what happens to you, music can help you through any situation, and anyone who loves music, I think will agree with that. And I guess if you're lucky enough to write music in any shape or form, it's another step, and that means something to you as well. It really, music can just take anything and make it okay.
Yeah, it can. Although the Light on the Hill song I mentioned earlier, Alex still can't sing it live. You know, she's tried a few times, but it just breaks up. She breaks up when she sings that. But everything else is fine. But it's funny with there's a song called Oi Oi Oi, We're Going Down the Pub, which was we heard it from a band called Whiplash. Do you remember them years back?
Yeah, so I don't know.
Whiplash were Adelaide Pogues, kind of punk, folk, Celtic thing.
Don't remember them at all.
That was about 17 years ago, and we remember that the chorus. So
you stole their song.
We were playing in Darwin, and we'd got this guy to come and support us. The guy who used to sing that, but he turned up late and he was drunk, and his band weren't there. So I said to him, "You can't go on, you know." But we sang that chorus for a laugh, and it went so well. We did it at the Woodford Folk Festival, and James Blundell was there. He left the venue, and the bass player knew him. Said they were singing that song all the way back to the where they were living.
Awesome.
And so I contacted the guy in Darwin. I said, "Do you mind? We can't remember the lyrics in the verse. We've made up our own lyrics in the verse, but can we use your chorus?" And he went, "Yeah, that's fine." But in the studio we couldn't get it. It was just not rough enough. Do you know what I mean? It was too nice.
Yeah.
And we tried for a whole year with every configuration going. So we ended up just using a live version and overdubbing some bits. And the same with the song called Sober. Just couldn't get the energy.
That's one that really stuck out for me. I really like that one.
Whereas the one in the studio is perfect and it's great guitars, but it has no energy.
Yeah.
So this side had to have energy rather than perfection, you know.
But it is the theme, I guess, of the CD Rise Up. It is a really uplifting, wants you to get on your feet sort of collection of tunes, and I guess those tunes live must get everybody up on their feet, I'm sure.
Well, it's the case for us that we'll probably do 8 of those songs and maybe 2 of those from the Slow album. You know, it's listening to it. You might listen to the Slow album, but when you do it live, you tend to stick with the faster ones. I think that's what our crowd likes anyway. You know. Well. That's what we're giving them anyway.
You guys certainly don't stand or sit on a stool and go to sleep, so you don't give the audience much chance to do that either, which is a good thing. I want to ask you about your upcoming visit to Denmark in a moment, but I don't want to forget to mention one of the great things you guys do is go to people's houses and play anywhere they want. You'll come and play in folks' lounge rooms if they so desire, which is a very cool thing. Tell me how that sort of started. And
well, even if they don't desire it, we're going to come there anyway. That's what we're just doing here tonight. We've got the band out there, Michael. I heard about it. I think it was the guy from the Waifs, actually. Because he'd lived in Canada and America for so long, it's such a big thing over there. The house concerts it is massive in America, and the UK and Europe is quite big as well. But it just sounded, because we'd always done little private parties or people's birthdays or that kind of stuff, it just seemed like a logical way to go, you know. And we've even swapped. We swapped out like a water filter thing for our house, so we don't get fluoride coming into the house for a house.
So you've gone and done a gig for the plumber.
Yeah.
I love that's great.
And now with the new ideas, we're going to swap anything that we. At this very moment, a woman is doing our garden, and we're swapping the house concert for her.
So I hope the tax department's not listening.
Oh, no money changing hands.
That's awesome. That's really good. That's cool.
So, I think it's. Where was I reading the barter system? Was it Cuba? So I think it's Cuba. The barter system is the only way it is working at the moment. you know, that you give me this and I'll give you that, and
If you make it work, it's cool. That's great.
I think the barter system's great.
Yeah, it's good.
When we and Alice were busking around the world 18 years ago, we swapped our cassettes for taxis,
Oh, okay.
taxi fares,
Great.
pizzas,
Fantastic.
anything you can think of, we swapped it, you know. But the house concerts is getting quite big in Australia now. It's it just needs a few more people to do it. You know, host it.
Yeah.
Just to host it.
Oh, people can jump on your website and book you straight from there. It's
Or offer a service. You know,
Yeah.
we need somebody to paint our house. If there's any painters there.
there you go. So you must have had some funny stories going around doing that. Have you? You know, it's something crazy must have happened somewhere or sometime
Doing the house concerts. Oh God.
that you can tell us.
Can't think of any at the moment, Michael, but I'm sure there has been. Yeah.
So you haven't been in the middle of nowhere trying to getting lost on the way to find somewhere, or
Oh yeah.
I'm sure that would happen often, wouldn't it?
Yeah, well, sometimes people in the country have things in, like, we played at a shearing shed place
Yeah.
in Victoria, but they had like 50 rooms in the place, so you know the actual venue is like just a big kitchen.
Yeah.
But everybody was pissed, and then we all just ended up in some bed somewhere. You know, I thought it was a brilliant idea.
Fantastic.
Instead of doing it in your own home, just doing some shearing place.
Indeed.
But trying to find that, you know, is.
And you're as busy as ever, and you're heading off to Denmark in July. Is it July?
Yeah, July
July?
1st. Yeah.
And this is your third visit. Is it? Now, my pronunciation's probably way off. Skagen Festival, is that?
I think they say Skagen.
Skagen Festival.
Yeah, well, we were over in France last year and Scotland, and we were supposed to do a big run of festivals this year through a magazine over there. We played at a country music, in fact, Europe's biggest country music festival called Mirande in the south of France. We only did one set there, but this magazine said we'd like to sponsor you for next year. You know, we'll set up these run of festivals as long as you sing a song called Dream West, which was the magazine's name. And we thought, yeah, that'll be easy, you know.
Yeah.
Bung it in somewhere. So, and then we organised the Danish thing, and we organised something in Scotland, and then France has just hit rock bottom with the Euro, so the kind of low to medium festivals have been cancelled. The big ones are still going ahead. So, and then Scotland is not too much better off as well, and that was cancelled. So I was just left with one, but we're just going to do the festival, and Denmark is such a big Celtic place. There's a lot of Irish bands live there.
Which I don't understand why. Enlighten me why.
It's so like Scotland and Ireland. You know, the people are just so.
Okay.
The audiences clap for 5 minutes after you finish playing. You finish the song, they go ho 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 ho. Then you go, okay, you know.
Is that because it's so cold in winter that when the festival season comes in summer that they're all so drunk and ready to party? Is that?
Probably is. So we, as I said, Donovan, he's got a house in Ireland and in Denmark. Just a lot of the kind of big Celtic acts do a lot of work there in Germany and Denmark.
Yeah.
So we don't actually mind focusing on there at the moment because there's some really big festivals there, and plus the fact, you know, I can get to see my family. They're going to come over, and you know, otherwise you don't really get to see them that much.
So is the festival sort of based near Copenhagen, or is it out in the country somewhere?
It's if Copenhagen is at the bottom, this is the very top of Denmark. You can't go any further. You're in the sea.
Oh, okay.
It's the very northern part. But you know, it seems there's big festivals. You've got the Tuna Festival. You've got the big rock one that somebody died a few years back. Remember the rock? Was it Pearl Jam or something?
There's a big one in Germany. Was it Wacken you're thinking about?
Can't remember, but there was a big one. Yeah, 100,000 goes to it or whatever. So yeah, it's just
It's still very special that, you know, as I said before, a musical act from Adelaide, you're so respected on the far reaches of the world that, you know, you're invited back to places like that. That's something very special, and that's what I was saying, that, you know, to be based in Adelaide and to be doing those things, you know, it's a very rare thing, and I think you know, folks in Adelaide, we should be very proud of what you guys do. I think you're really not just showing the world that there's great music coming out of Australia, but you're really, you know, as ambassadors for Australia, you're doing a great job out there. And
we're the Les Pattersons.
is that right?
Oh, I'm the Jim Patterson. So. Yeah. No, it's so. I mean, even just what we decided to do in the first place was just to concentrate in Australia, because it's such a big place to get around. This continent, never mind America, and then when you start adding Europe and America and Canada, without a big promotion, like even Delta Goodrem and Kylie found it really hard to break. Missy Higgins, you know, and that was spending a year going around every radio station. Missy Higgins had burnt her out.
Yes, indeed.
She hasn't done anything for 5 years.
No, she's only just sort of got back on the treadmill now. Yeah.
So you have to decide where you. I mean, I was 34 when I first started in the Borderers, and we decided let's just stay in Australia, but it's like it's nice and warm in Europe in July, so I might as well go there.
Well, you may not be getting around in a limousine, but I guess for most of us, you've got the best of both worlds. You can still live in Adelaide and still go and play around the world when the opportunity pops up. So I guess that's not a bad thing.
Yeah, I remember John Dean from Mix 102.3 said, "So Jim, what drives the band?" And I said, "At this stage, a fourth Katina." Yeah, you do. Yeah, I mean, I think it's got to a point, and probably a lot of guys you interview is like, what else can you do? You know, it's like nearly 50, and you think, I still feel really young and energetic, so I might as well do this, but I really don't know what else I can do.
But you know, I guess the good thing is there's still, as long as there's still an audience out there that wants to see you perform, that's really what it's about, isn't it? I guess if no one was coming to see you play, you'd maybe think twice about it. But you're still playing sold out shows, so that's got to say something.
Yeah, I think it's just that because we started in '94, I think like we just missed the peak time for radio airplay, you know, in the '80s. So we've done it like the old AC/DC way, where you just play. But I think when you do have, you have Richard Clapton and guys like that with 2 or 3 singles behind you, it just makes it easier. So we just missed that radio thing, you know.
But then again, as I said before, you have such an awesome reputation live, and if anyone has not seen you guys play, it really is an experience to come and see the Borderers play. You will. I guarantee you will not be disappointed, and you will go home with a huge smile on your face.
Well, we are doing one show before we head off. We're playing in June the 9th at it's called Guthrie's, but it's actually the Prospect Town Hall, which is Prospect Road in Adelaide, next to Chivo's. If you're going along the street thinking, where the hell is this place? So that's Saturday the 9th of June. That's just a last show before we head off, kind of thing.
So if you're in Adelaide, get along to that one, dear listener. And if you're in Europe and you can and you're listening to the program and you can head in the direction of Denmark, it'll be well worth it to go and see the Borderers play at the festival in Skagen.
Yeah,
Skagen. Did I get that right? All right, Jim. Great to say hello, mate. A pleasure to have a chat, and I wish you all the best in Europe. I hope you have a lot of fun, and it'll be look forward to having you guys come back home afterwards.
Thanks, Michael.
Now here's a big chance to do a tag and look.
Okay. Where's that guitar?
Oh, you want to do a guitar one? All right.
Oh no, you've had Steve Vai on and that.
He didn't play anything. I normally just ask people to say this is blah blah blah, and you're listening to Sitting in a Bar in Adelaide, but you can be as creative as you like.
Sitting in the bar in Adelaide?
Yeah. It's the only oh, do you know how hard it was to find a song about Adelaide that didn't actually take the piss out of Adelaide? It was really, really hard.
Is that a song, Sitting in the Bar in Adelaide?
Yeah, it's a Greg McCain's tune. And it's, yeah, it really is not about Adelaide at all, but that's just what the song is called, and there's just a couple of lines in it. But I tried and tried and tried. Like, Paul Kelly's written quite a few, but they're all awful. They all, Adelaide's a terrible place, and it's.
Really?
Don Morrison probably has got a couple, but at the time when I needed a theme tune, I thought, what do I find from Adelaide? And I couldn't. So that's how it sort of happened.
Yeah. I think of the first rock song I ever wrote. This is Jim Patterson from the Borderers. Are you listening to the Sitting in the Bar?
That was fun. That was good.
Yeah?
Yeah, it was fun.
And you're listening to Sitting in the Bar in Adelaide. Okay.
Simple as that.
This is Jim Patterson from the Borderers. You're listening to Sitting in the Bar in Adelaide. This is Jim Patterson from the Borderers, and you're listening to Sitting in the Bar in Adelaide.